very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to the 1873 TV, your vision, your power. Your vision on issues that matter, your power to inspire new thinking, new outcomes, and new possibilities. My name is Tinashe Mpasiri. This afternoon on the 1873 TV, we continue with SMM Special Part 17. And as we look at SMM Special Part 17, the document that we've been looking at is a transcript from the parliamentary question and answer session. Joining me this afternoon on the discussion, I happen to be joined by Mr. Mutuma Mawere. Mr. Mawere, a very good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon.
And I'm also joined by Tawonga Chauke. Tawonga, a very good afternoon and welcome to the 1873 TV.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Tinashe.
Yes, so as we continue with the conversation that we've been having and also looking at this question and answer from the parliamentary, where Honorable Chinamasa was giving his side of the story pertaining to the acquisition of SMM, the placing of SMM under Reconstruction Act. Mr. Mawere will help us today to unpack the facts behind SMM, which is Shabhani Mashaba mines. Okay,
Tawonga, you are the newcomer.
Okay.
Yeah, you are studying law.
Yes.
So you can appreciate parliament. You know the creature called parliament?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
So the minister was responding to oral questions in parliament. And the questions were raised in relation to a company called SMM Holdings. And where we left yesterday, the minister had been asked a question by Honorable Mazimure. This was in 2005. Okay. The question is, due to the fact that SMMH was a private company, what was the interest of government in funding a privately owned organization to the tune of 115 billion Zimbabwe dollars? How was government funding the operations? Were there due diligence reports which were produced by this organization so that the government will now make a decision to fund it?
Okay.
So this is the question that was raised. As you know, there are companies in which the government may be a shareholder. In the South African case, where you live, do you know of any such companies?
Companies that have the government entwined in them.
Yeah, not entwined. That
but
way,
like they own.
What may be called public enterprises.
No, I don't know.
You know an organization called ESCOM?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know ESCOM.
You know the organization called, what else, Denel? Transnet?
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
You know those organizations?
I do, yes.
Yeah. And SARS?
Yes.
Yeah. So those organizations, by virtue of the fact that the shares that we used to incorporate those organizations are issued to public institutions, they are called public corporation. In this case, they would call them statutory corporations or state-controlled or state-owned enterprises. In this case, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Justice, then was being asked by one of the members of Parliament, why would government advance money to a company in which the government has no interest, a private company? The minister says, I thought the honorable member had been listening. Whenever you get that kind of response, what immediately comes to mind? When somebody thought, I thought you had been listening.
War.
Is it intimidation?
Not entirely.
Mm.
They're about to challenge you because they're thinking you were listening.
No, I'm saying it means the person doesn't want to answer.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Because if a person is asked, you just answer the question.
Oh.
You don't need...
Not throw a question at them.
Then you say, I thought you'd been listening.
Okay.
So you're saying that I was not listening. Instead of responding to my question. Because I've never asked the question. And yet you're saying, my question has already been answered. Then I said, and I gave reasons why government had to intervene in a supposedly private company. Yeah. What does supposedly mean in legal terms?
Supposedly, I've never heard supposedly as a legal term. But my understanding of the term itself is actually saying that when you suppose something, you are more like imagining it.
Okay. So he is actually saying the company, as a matter of fact, is not private. Because when you say supposedly,
there's some sense of doubt in that.
You're already saying that the person who is asking may think it is what it is when it's not what it is. So already the minister has already taken a view that his view is the correct one. So if I say the person who is driving the car does not own the car, then it means it's not your car. So when you ask and say, but I saw Tawonga with a car, with her car, then someone says, supposedly her car, then it means either I've stolen it, or I've rented it, or I am driving in trust. Somebody has given me the car to drive. Because of its critical role in our economy, it is the producer of asbestos, and we are a very key world producer of asbestos. That is the reason. Imagine somebody says, your car is key because we need it. Then I just go and commandeer somebody to drive it off. Would you expect that to happen in a country that observes the rule of law?
No.
Either, whether it's critical, it's not your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an interest, all you say is what?
I have an interest.
I have an interest. We have now acquired the company, and this is the way we have acquired it. You don't have to go into this whole explanation. It earns foreign currency, and also it employed 5,000 workers. So because it employs and it earns money, therefore the government is entitled. So if you find somebody with a pretty wife, and say she's too pretty,
and she can bear beautiful and handsome children.
Therefore, I'm entitled to have you. I'm entitled to have you because she's critical. It's critical for me to get children that are what?
That are handsome and beautiful.
The Shabhani community basically rotates around this mind. So the whole community rotates around this woman. Everybody says she's a good woman. Therefore, I must get here. Yeah, because I got the power to get what I want. The mine still has a life of 25 to 30 years at current production level. When you say current, what does it mean?
It's happening now.
It's happening. And the same minister said the mines had closed. Huh? Would current be the appropriate word?
If the mines had been closed, as so he said, then it's not the word to use.
So you'd say he's misrepresenting facts. Either he must present the facts as they are, and say if the mine were to reopen, we would recover or we'd resume. You can't say current. So taking all that into account, it was critical of us to save jobs. So somebody goes into your house, discovers that it's dilapidated inside, and says, because it's dilapidated, I want to save the house from collapse. So I have to take over the house without your consent. How would you feel?
Disrespected.
Now, if this is your government,
Oh, my government.
yeah, and this person is not using his own private power to do this, he's using state power.
That's abuse of authority.
It will be under the classification of abuse of what? Public power. Huh? It was critical for us to save a foreign exchange earner, especially bearing in mind that the company had viability. But if the company is insolvent, as an accountant,
Yes, Mr. Moyo.
would viability be a factor?
No, it wouldn't be a factor at all. Because automatically, a company that's insolvent, it means that its liabilities are way more than its assets. And when you look at even that aspect, when liabilities are way more than assets, it means there's no working capital for it to be operating.
Maybe for the viewers out there, you know what insolvency means?
If you may explain to me more.
Okay, you can ask Nashi to explain what it is.
Basically, when a company is solvent, it means that it's able to operate. It means the working capital, or rather the assets, are what? More than the liabilities.
No, the liabilities are more than the assets.
A solvent company, an insolvent.
Yeah.
The liabilities are more than the assets. So if you look at liabilities, what comprises liabilities? Creditors, for example. When you look at assets, you're talking about the property, plant and equipment. You're also talking about cash and cash equivalents. So you can imagine when you have more creditors, assuming your creditors are sitting at 1 million rands and your assets are sitting at 200,000 rand, can there be any viability at all? Because these creditors, at the end of the day, they ought to be paid, and there's no means to what? To pay these creditors, and there's no means to finance the operations of that business.
So the minister is saying there was a viability issue, and the company itself was viable. So if it's viable, then do you want to take something that is viable?
No.
In the name of what? Insolvency. Then he says, if only the owners had not externalized $18.5 million and a lot of foreign currency in rands and Canadian dollars. If that had not happened, this company could have been very viable, and we would not have had any reason to interfere at all in its operations. We came to its rescue. You see a car, you believe that the car is going to be involved in an accident. Before the accident occurs, you take control of the car, remove the driver, and you put your own driver. Would you recognize that action in a nation of laws?
Yes, you're guilty. You were there. You were present.
No. I mean, that action
Of removing the driver now.
of removing the driver, the lawful owner is taken off the car, and the person, he says, I'm saving the car. And you end up a pedestrian. would you recognize that act as an act of somebody who is a builder?
No.
We came to its rescue because the workers had gone for 3 months without being paid. So the minister is now speaking on behalf of what?
Of the
Of workers.
management.
We were lending, and as time went on, it was very clear that we had to take an interest. We had to take an interest in what was going on. Imagine the bank manager leaves the bank, comes to your house, and says, I want to check what is in your bedroom. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Huh?
No.
When we did, that is when we realized that foreign currency had been externalized. When I went into the bedroom, I discovered there was what? No bed. Then I took the house, because every bedroom must have what? A bed. So in order to save jobs and to save a foreign currency earner, we intervened. So this is a doctor who says, I came to your house, although you had not come saying I'm sick, I knew you were going to die. But I had to intervene to save you. The idea now is that we will convert our loans to the company into equity. Convert. And we decide. Right now, the scheme of reconstruction has, to my knowledge, already been gazetted, or the process has already been introduced to give an idea of what creditors are there and how much they are owed and what will be our shareholding as government after the conversion. Do you understand what he's saying?
Where it states from already been gazetted.
Right now the scheme has, to my knowledge,
already been gazetted.
Yeah.
Or the process has already been introduced to give an idea of what creditors are there and how much they are owed and what will be our shareholding as government after the conversion. I'm failing to understand, Mr. Mawir. Maybe you could explain what is being stated here.
That you are not sick, you don't have a heart problem. Somebody says you must be operated. They give you a heart that you didn't need. And they say you must pay for the heart that you didn't need. Now you must give up your shares, because if you are the one who is indebted or looking for a doctor, if you are sick, what do? You look for a doctor.
You look for a doctor. The doctor doesn't
But
look
can
for
the doctor look for you?
Not at all. That can't happen.
Or a mechanic
Look for her.
look for you? Huh? Or security guard look for crime?
No.
But you are the one who phones and say there is something that has happened at my property. Can the security come and see? In this case, the person who's supposed to protect you is the person who says, I've already taken. And this is a minister in a government of the people, by the people, for the people. What would you say? Would you want to be part of that country?
No.
Hmm?
No.
No.
No. No.
Okay. Last time you said you were Zimbabwean.
Yes, I am in Zimbabwe.
Now this movie is being played in Zimbabwe. Or do you believe this happens while you are going on with your own life?
I actually don't believe that it's happening or it happened.
So if you were to ask the question, Tinashe, to the viewers out there, what would be the question? What kind of question would you ask?
Pertaining what the...
So far, where we are.
Okay. Clearly from what I've come to understand, especially what the minister is stating, he has misrepresented facts. So my question to the public out there pertaining to misrepresentation by the minister would, what...
You're saying he's misrepresented. Well, let's say he represented the facts as he knew them.
Okay.
As they were presented to him. What question emerged from this? In terms of constitutionalism.
Can a government be involved in the affairs of a private company?
No, he's saying that it's supposedly a private company.
Supposedly a private company?
Yeah. So what questions would then emerge for a public office bearer?
He's saying, as a matter of fact, this is a public company and this is not...
No, he said supposedly private company.
Supposedly.
All he's saying, the idea is that now, first that we realize that foreign currency had been externalized.
Yes.
What question would emerge from that?
First, I would also want to understand externalization itself, whether there was externalization of funds.
First, wouldn't you ask, what is externalization?
That's number one.
So are you asking the people?
I was just typing for them to...
Yeah, they say, what is externalization? Do you understand what it means?
No, I would like an explanation what externalization is.
Yeah. So the minister says, he says, we were lending, and as time went on, it was very clear that we had to take an interest in what was going on. So I want to understand what is going on in the cockpit. I'm in the plane. When I arrived in the plane, I found there was a gunman. So the first question is, what is your business in the cockpit? Is it within the scope of your duties that you know what is in the cockpit? When you are in the plane, you have flown on a plane.
Yes.
Have you ever been in the cockpit?
What is the cockpit?
Where the pilot
is.
Inside that room.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you've been inside?
I've been inside.
Invited?
Yes.
Or invading?
Invited.
Or invited? Yeah? Or you were invited?
I was invited, yes.
And if you are not invited?
It's a crime. Not allowed to go beyond.
So the minister goes in the cockpit of a company. The minister arrives in your house. He goes to the bedroom. So I discovered that in the bedroom there was no bed. The first question you ask, on what authority did you go
into the bedroom?
Into the bedroom. What was it your business? The bank, have you ever heard the bank coming to take the keys away from you? Because you failed to pay. Or if it's a house, would the bank sell the house on mortgage without notifying you?
No, they wouldn't. They'll first notify you.
I'll let you know.
They will do that. Would the bank on its own send its officers to come and check your bank account? Their interest is the car, is it? Or the house? In this case, the creditor wears his own shoes, leaves his own home. He goes into an area where he has no business being part of. Then, having arrived there, he says, I discovered that there was a crime committed. And the crime is externalization. And if there's somebody who understands what externalization...
Okay, I Googled the...
Oh, you Googled, okay.
Okay. In Freudian psychology, externalization is an unconscious defense mechanism by which an individual projects his or her own internal characteristics onto the outside world, particularly onto other people. Externalization can be used in the context of a corporation.
Okay, that's not that's the definition by other people, but in the case of Zimbabwe,
okay,
they have a peculiar way of defining externalization. Maybe just check externalization dash Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Philip Farai Rusere, welcome from Botswana, Gaborone. You found it?
Okay, let's open this one.
Okay, let me just, I did not find a definition of it, but something that I found that can probably shed light in the Zimbabwe context, what externalization meaning. So it's something that is in the Chronicle of the 3rd of August, actually the 14th of July, 2016, externalizing of funds warring. One of the troubling questions in the Zimbabwean economy is about externalization of funds. One wonders why some people, after generating profits in Zimbabwe, take away those funds and hand them over to other countries.
So imagine the profit is made in Zimbabwe, and you take money out of Zimbabwe. What would be the different mechanism of taking money?
Investing in other businesses overseas.
No. You take it physical, put it in your pocket.
Oh, okay.
Or put it in your briefcase. Yeah? Is that correct? So first I must withdraw the money. And when I'm withdrawing the money, whose money is it?
It's my money. It's my
so
property.
At the time in Zimbabwe, the currency of the country was what?
The currency of Zimbabwe then was Zimbabwean dollars.
So what would I be withdrawing?
You'll be withdrawing Zimbabwean dollars.
If I take Zimbabwean dollars to Botswana, what would I do with the Zimbabwean dollars?
At that time, the Zimbabwean dollar...
You can't do anything.
You could not do anything with it.
So it means you can't take currency that is useless outside the borders of Zimbabwe. Take it to South Africa. When you arrive with the currency in South Africa, what happens?
It loses value.
No, it has no value.
There's no value in South Africa.
Oh!
There's no value in South Africa at all.
They don't recognize it. It's not the currency of the country. So how do I take Zimbabwean money outside Zimbabwe? Yeah? To do what with that money? So for me to externalize, it means the money that is there, the minister would not have an interest because the money belongs to you. So if you have money in your purse, and then you buy a wallet, you take money from the wallet, from the purse, and put in the wallet. Would that concern a third party?
No.
Huh?
No, it's my money.
It is my money. So if it's my money, wouldn't you call it my property?
It is my property.
Huh?
It's my property.
Ordinarily, any officer of government would not be interested in my property other than money that is due for taxes or for services. The other thing, I take a wheelbarrow, I put the money in the wheelbarrow, I cross the border with it. Would they allow me to cross the border with money?
No, they wouldn't.
And what would I do with foreign currency? Because if I go to my bank and I want to withdraw foreign currency, would I be able to withdraw upon request?
No.
Would the request be competent?
No.
So when I'm asking what is externalization, I'm asking the question because I'm troubled, because I'm trying to find a better understanding of it. That foreign currency, which is foreign to us, has been externalized when it's already foreign. How can you externalize something that is already foreign?
You cannot actually externalize something that's foreign. I can give an example right now. When they say that an individual is a foreigner, when that individual goes out of the country, is that not something that probably, if, for instance, when the people state...
No, the moment you have left the country,
yeah.
It means you are no longer situated in the country.
In that country, yes.
Huh? So I cannot be, I can't say I've externalized you because I've taken a decision to leave. And money does not have legs on its own. Where I can say I caused money to move away from where it's supposed to move. Because if it is my money, I have the authority to what?
To do whatever.
To move it. Because it's my property. You can't say, why did you take your car to Mozambique? First, you must establish that the car is not my car. Second, that the car is capable of being moved. And that I did move it. And that it's supposed to be where it's not supposed to be. And you know where the car is. Because it was here today and tomorrow it's there. So that movement from point A to point B, it means it has been caused by somebody. So foreign things are already outside my control.
Yes. Yes.
When my daughter gets married, she departs, is it, from this environment where she grew up. Huh? Can I go and supervise what is happening
In a house.
No.
Huh?
No.
And I go and say, but young man, you married my daughter, but you are not sleeping together.
I want grandkids.
I want to go into the bedroom and check. Yeah? Because what happens outside my view happens there. But I can't say you externalize a foreign thing because it's already external.
Yes.
If you said I moved my money in a foreign account to another account, that crime occurs outside what? My knowledge. Yeah? Because even if I wanted the bank statements, can I obtain them?
No, you can't.
I'm not an interested party. It occurs outside. But how many people in Zimbabwe understand this word called externalization? This is the Minister of Justice who is saying this. Would you expect something better from him? Yeah?
Most definitely.
And he's also, if you knew that he was a lawyer, trained, qualified, admitted, and he is saying things like that and remains a minister, what would be your assessment to a government in which this man is a minister?
It's bound to fail.
Would you be scared?
Very scared.
Huh?
Failure. They're doomed for failure.
So in order to save jobs and to save a foreign currency earner, we intervened. Because anything that is foreign is paid by what? Somebody who is outside your domain. And you can't control when and how it's paid. Imagine a customer, you sell to him and he fails to pay. Would you go to the police station to report? Would you go?
Yes, I would. It's a crime.
What is a crime? Failure to pay.
Yes.
You know how many people will be arrested for failing to pay mortgages?
They'll be put in more jails.
But it's a crime.
No, it's not a crime. It's a civil offense. It's a civil infringement. You don't go, because all I need to do is what? To go to court and file a claim, which you can defend, and I get a judgment. In the normal course of business. The idea now is that we will convert our loans into the company into equity. Huh? You come into my house, you donate a fridge and a lounge suite and a bedroom what? Bedroom furniture. Then he says, no, I will put this, in return I take a percentage of the house. What would you feel? The guy takes you out of the house and he says, I have given you, while you're outside the house, I bought furniture, fridge, and everything. And the value of what I've put in the house exceeds what the house is worth. So now it's my house. Would you understand that? You want to be a journalist?
Yes, yes.
So imagine we organize for you to see this minister. Would you be comfortable talking to him?
I would want answers.
Okay. Says, okay, I'm listening. Talk to me.
Why did he make something that is not his business? Why did he take it?
So you're asking me, Minister, Honorable
Why?
Minister. Huh?
Honorable
Talk to
Minister,
me.
why did you go after this, which was not your business?
In Zimbabwe, anything I deem to be my business will be my business.
By force.
I will put the law to make it my business.
So after that, what would be your next question if you had to give you a response
Such a response. I wouldn't ask him any further questions.
But why not?
For the public out there, huh? You would not ask a
No, I would not even.
And you wouldn't ask whose government is it?
He would say.
No. You are asking me. I am now taking this role. I am the minister. And according to your understanding, public power resides with who? Who is the custodian of public power?
The public.
So you are the public. And now you are saying, I'll keep quiet because I'm public. I give you power, then I cannot ask you, on whose authority were you doing this? Wouldn't you ask?
I would.
Huh?
I would want to know that part.
That part. And say, Minister, talk to me. When you were looking for this foreign currency and you find it was stolen, what hat were you wearing? And what was your interest And who invited you? And even if you are invited, knowing that it's not my business to get there. The only person who can invite me is the owner of the house. Yeah? Can you invite yourself?
No. That will be trespassing.
That will be trespassing. So in this case, you have a minister of government who sees no evil. He hears no evil about this conduct. Would you sleep?
No.
Hmm?
No.
No. All right. We are the only party that has put money into this company. Not even Mawere. Imagine, the man this is your house. Then he says, you live in the house. He says, you didn't put money in there. I put money for furniture. So get out of the house. Nobody invited you. But you said, the best way for me to take Mawere is what? The house, assets, is for me to use the public power that I possess. He relied very much on borrowings. So if you borrow, a person who is not involved in that lending says it's too much borrowing. It's not good for you. So let me take you over. And I pay what you owe.
And why would you be so willing to pay for me what I owe?
You see, this is the use of public power. Have you ever heard the word called state capture?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay. You want to be what?
A
A
journalist.
journalist.
And you don't know what state power is?
State
Capture.
Capture.
State capture.
Never heard of it?
No.
Has the state has been captured?
No.
You never
You know, to
heard
what,
that?
was the,
Yes.
what was the report all about that made headlines?
I don't remember. Let me just look it up.
Okay. So you can see your journalism needs what?
Sharpening.
You need
Serious
you need
sharpening.
the real scissors. You need to have better scissors. So he then says, when you start a business, you will either start it by either borrowing money or by saving. If you borrow too much, you give power to your creditors instead of your company. So how does the minister get involved in that? That is what Mawere did. This idiot. He borrowed money. And I got to know of it. And I got interested in saving Mawere from his company. So you come to the gate of your house. There's a new padlock. Then you ask, what has happened? Not the bank. Somebody else says, I have taken over the company because I know you are not going to pay back. So in order to protect you, I had to take this action. Then it goes to the car. Says, in order to protect you, I had to take the car. I like the car as well. Then it drives off. What would you do?
I would be angry.
Why would you be angry?
Because this person has just taken over my property, put a new padlock.
So when you were doing law, protection of private property was one of the subjects you were. Yeah?
Yes.
What do they say about private property?
You're not allowed to go beyond.
So the Constitution limits.
Yes, you are limited to certain
Even the
boundaries.
president has no power to take your phone, even if he likes it. Huh? There is a law that protects you from that kind of behavior. Even if he discovers that you don't know how to use the phone, and you are using 1% of the phone, would he be entitled?
No, it's my private property.
But this minister says, no. You borrowed money to buy it, and therefore I have reason to believe that you won't be able to pay. But let me take the phone and use it myself. What would you say? You are younger than Zimbabwe.
Very, very young.
Eh?
Yes.
Oh, you're younger than Zimbabwe?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is being done. There are people who fought so that this country can be independent. And if you discover that this is what they were fighting for, to give a minister this kind of powers, what would you do?
Be disappointed.
Then what? Then go and sleep.
No. I wouldn't leave it like that.
What would you do?
Voice my opinion. But do they really listen?
Already you're saying, do they really listen?
No, I doubt it.
So what would you do? You allow people to use your name and do evil acts in your name. So when you go home tonight, are you going to tweet and say, I learned something about the exercise of public power? What would you tell me if I was your grandmother? Say, where were you? You're supposed to go and see your aunt at 6, is it?
Yes.
At 5?
At 5.
So what were you doing for this 1 hour?
The abuse of leaders in our country, Zimbabwe.
Oh, it's our country.
It's ours.
Okay. So is that what you learned?
That they are, what are they doing? What's that word? The big word.
Which one? The corrupt word.
Yes, the corrupt words.
What would you say? Or you'd find it difficult to communicate?
I would, because I'm still trying to process everything, because I never knew this was actually happening.
That's why I was surprised you that there are many people who call themselves Zimbabweans who have no interest in knowing how their power is being used and manipulated. If you now know, and which character is involved in this? It's not the government. Who is answering these questions? What is his name? Which character are we talking about?
The minister.
Which minister? So somebody asks you, which minister are you? You got eyes.
Yes.
Can you see there? What is the name there?
Minister Chinamasa.
No, speak up.
Mr. Chinamasa.
Chinamasa.
Yes.
And the person who asked, Mr. who?
Is it the one on top?
Yeah.
Mr. I can't choose
Madzimure.
Madzimura, yeah. Okay.
So there's a questioner.
And there's one replying.
Replying. Who is replying?
Mr. Namasa is asking.
No. Mr.
Chinamasa is asking.
Do you know who this man is?
No, I've never heard of them.
You've never heard of them?
But you say your country is Zimbabwe. Who is Zimbabwe are you living in? Who is Zimbabwe?
You have never heard of him?
No.
Who is Zimbabwe is this?
Never ever heard of them.
Okay, he comes from Mars. Huh? He's not wildfire. Huh?
And Mr. Madzi, I have never heard.
You have never heard of him?
Never ever.
Who is
in
the
my
Zimbabwean
life.
Minister of Finance?
I don't even know.
You don't even know.
Do they even have one?
Okay. And the Minister of Finance in South Africa?
I know this one.
Yeah, at least that one.
I know.
Okay.
Wait.
That's your quiz for today.
I've heard of his name before.
Okay.
But not of Zimbabwe. I've never heard it.
You've never?
Nah.
Eh.
I'm not in touch with what is happening.
So the South African minister?
What is his name tonight?
He's the former Minister of Home Affairs. To give you a clue.
No.
Melusi,
No.
Honorable Melusi Gigaba.
Yeah, okay.
Now you know. Okay.
Now, who is of
So
Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe, who do you know in government? Who is the president of Zimbabwe?
I know that one.
Okay.
I know that one.
You know that one?
Yeah, I know
that one.
That one. That old man.
How did you know? He's the only person you know.
I think so, yes.
And who else would you know in government?
In government.
Besides that one?
The other party,
No.
that
in
government.
in government.
No one.
No.
No one.
Vice President?
Is it a lady? I don't know.
You don't know?
How many vice presidents are there in Zimbabwe?
Is it more than one? I will start reading up more on Zimbabwe.
Yeah?
I'm embarrassed.
Okay. So next time we talk,
I will have more
now you know there's a character called Jinamas
and Matsimiri.
and Mazimure. Yeah, he was Minister of Justice then. And would it scare you when the Minister of Justice talks like this?
Very scary.
Very scary. Would you want to have a relationship with this government and say, it's my government, I played a part in creating it?
I doubt it.
Hmm?
No.
So your aunt is a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. So you can ask her, do you know a person called Shinamas?
Okay. I will ask her.
She may not know who Mazimure is, because he was just a member of what? Parliament then. When we did realize that we need to take control of the company, that is what happened. Imagine when we realized we want to take your house, we just took it. And the rest is history. Huh? Would you be scared? Then, Mr. Mungofa, can the minister explain? He has mentioned that there is a turnaround in terms of the company, but he does not specify how, because the company is still indebted to the tune of 800 billion. Probably since it has now turned around to the tune of over 650 billion. It is obvious that the honorable member does not understand. Everyone doesn't understand. Either you are not listening,
or you don't understand. Only him.
only him.
Understand.
So you ask
He's
him.
very ignorant.
No,
He sounds like a very ignorant person.
he's now the Minister of Finance. So, does not when I say we are reconstructing and we are turning loans into equity, at the end of the reconstruction exercise, when it is confirmed by the courts, the debt we are owed by SMMH will be written off. In return, we will take over the house. So is this a takeover scheme? or something else?
Takeover scheme.
Takeover scheme. Using your power. So we are come to the end of the show. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did.
Did you learn something?
Mazimure and yes.
And who?
I forgot the other one.
Chinamasa.
Chinamasa. Why do I have Munangagwa? Who is that? I have that stuck in my head. I've heard it somewhere.
You have heard it somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is Munangagwa?
He's the vice president.
Oh, I'm right. I knew I was on the right path. I knew that name existed.
Yeah.
And the other vice president?
I don't know.
You don't know it?
No.
Joyce Muchuru.
Mujuru was kicked out.
2014, I don't know.
She was taken off the bus.
July 2014.
Yeah.
The other vice president is Honorable Mpoko.
I wouldn't know who that is.
So you enjoyed it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And on that note, viewers, we have come to the end of our program. Thank you so much, Tabunga, for joining us. And I do hope that what you've learned today, you will also share with your colleagues or your connections within your circle. What I find really interesting is that you're not the only one who doesn't know about such matters. It so happened that somebody posted a post on Facebook last night asking what the Senate does. And I went on to state to that individual, you're not just talking about the Senate, but would you agree with me that even the role of a president is not, we don't have a shared understanding of what he does. The responses that came, they actually show that many people do not understand about power literacy. And it's something that as individuals, especially myself, as an individual who is concerned, I should be pro-social. I should be going out there and sharing this knowledge that I have. I'm actually sharing this knowledge that I have. Then I get involved when I see such questions or discussions taking place. So that at the end of the day, I inform people about what I know. And when we are better informed about issues, we can also act better as individuals. Mr. Mawere, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And to the viewers there, I hope you also found this quite informative as Tahonga did. We do hope to join us again tomorrow, same time. That is between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. as we continue unpacking these facts and also learning about the use of public power, your power, my power. Thank you so much. Tinashe Mpasiri, being the name, the 1873 TV, your vision, your power, an initiative of the 1873 Network, your platform for connecting, equipping, and inspiring. Visit our website on www.the1873network.org and also sign up for membership and let's get connected. Goodbye.